Discover the unseen battles that define our world, unmasking warfare and propaganda, where information becomes conflict's silent weapon. Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're delving deep into a topic that has influenced the course of history and continues to shape our world. Warfare and propaganda, how information shapes conflict. It's a captivating, multifaceted subject that deserves our attention. So buckle up as we explore the powerful connection between information and warfare. Let's begin. The history of propaganda. Our story begins in the annals of history, where propaganda has played a pivotal role in shaping conflicts for centuries. In ancient times, rulers used art, architecture, and religious texts to promote their legitimacy while demonizing their enemies. For example, the ancient Egyptians depicted their pharaohs as gods and their adversaries as savages through hieroglyphics and sculptures. Moving to the Middle Ages, the Catholic Church harnessed propaganda to rally support for the Crusades, portraying Muslims as infidels who needed to be converted by force. This propaganda was instrumental in recruiting soldiers for this religiously driven conflict. The advent of mass media in the 19th and 20th centuries led to a revolution in propaganda use, with governments and militaries leveraging newspapers, radio, and film to reach wider audiences and spread their messages more effectively. Propaganda in World War I. World War I marked the first global conflict where propaganda was used on a mass scale. All sides employed it to demonize their enemies and justify their actions. The British portrayed Germans as barbaric Huns, while German propaganda depicted the British as imperialists seeking to enslave the world. Propaganda in World War II. World War II saw an even more significant role for propaganda. The Axis and Allied powers both used it to mobilize their populations and support their war efforts. The Nazis excelled in using propaganda to spread their message of racial superiority and demonize various groups. The Allies, on the other hand, focused on promoting democracy and freedom and exposing Nazi atrocities. Propaganda in the Cold War. The Cold War was characterized by intense propaganda between the United States and the Soviet Union. Both aimed to discredit the other while promoting their own ideologies. The United States portrayed the Soviet Union as a totalitarian state bent on world domination, while Soviet propaganda depicted the United States as an imperialist power exploiting the developing world. Propaganda in the Information Age. Fast forward to the Information Age, where propaganda has reached unprecedented levels of pervasiveness and sophistication. The rise of social media and online platforms has made it easier than ever to disseminate misinformation and disinformation, blurring the line between fact and fiction and rendering the public more vulnerable to manipulation. Today, governments, militaries, and non-state actors all utilize propaganda to achieve their goals, influencing public opinion on issues ranging from elections to foreign policy and social matters. The dangers of propaganda. Now let's turn our attention to the significant dangers posed by propaganda. The manipulation and distortion of information, often driven by ulterior motives, can have far-reaching consequences that impact societies, individuals, and entire nations. Propaganda can be perilous because it has the power to manipulate people's perceptions, leading them to justify actions that are morally reprehensible. Throughout history, we have seen propaganda used to endorse and facilitate genocide, war crimes, and other atrocities. By dehumanizing entire groups or nations, it can desensitize individuals to the suffering of others, making them more willing to accept or even endorse acts of violence. Beyond promoting violence, propaganda can also be a catalyst for social division. By framing certain groups or individuals as threats, it fosters hatred and distrust, pitting communities against one another. In extreme cases, this can escalate to violence and social unrest, further destabilizing societies and undermining the principles of unity and coexistence. Moreover, the pervasiveness of propaganda in the information age can erode trust in media, institutions, and democratic processes. When individuals are bombarded with conflicting messages and misinformation, it becomes increasingly challenging to discern the truth from falsehood. This, in turn, can undermine faith in the pillars of democracy and sow seeds of doubt, potentially weakening the very foundations of a functioning society. How propaganda can shape conflict. Now, let's delve even deeper into how propaganda can shape conflicts, examining the intricate mechanisms through which it exerts its influence. Rallying support for the war effort. Propaganda is an effective tool for motivating individuals to actively support the war effort. During World War II, the United States government harnessed its power to encourage citizens to buy war bonds and to volunteer for the military. The iconic "Uncle Sam Wants You" poster is a testament to how propaganda can evoke strong patriotic emotions and mobilize the population for a common cause. Demoralizing the enemy. Beyond mobilizing one's own population, propaganda can be employed to undermine the morale of the enemy. In World War II, the Allies expertly used propaganda to erode the resolve of German troops. They highlighted German defeats and showcased the futility of their cause. This psychological warfare aimed to weaken the adversary's will to fight, and it was a potent tool in turning the tide of the war. Sowing discord among the enemy population. Sowing discord within the enemy population is another strategic application of propaganda. The Soviet Union, for example, skillfully utilized this tactic during the Soviet-Afghan War. They disseminated information to create divisions among the Afghan people, making it more challenging for them to mount a unified resistance. This fragmentation effectively weakened their ability to oppose the Soviet occupation. Modern examples of propaganda. Now, let's examine how propaganda continues to be a potent force in shaping contemporary conflicts and influencing public opinion. Russia's invasion of Ukraine. In recent years, Russia's propaganda machine has been in overdrive to justify its invasion of Ukraine. Russian media outlets have depicted Ukraine as a neo-Nazi state, demonizing its government and population. They have spread disinformation to fuel mistrust and hatred, while alleging that the Ukrainian government is committing genocide against Russian speakers. This propaganda serves not only to rally domestic support, but also to legitimize military actions on the global stage. The Syrian Civil War. In the protracted Syrian Civil War, both the government and the opposition have been engaged in extensive propaganda campaigns. The government portrays the opposition as terrorists seeking to overthrow a legitimate authority, while the opposition paints the government as a brutal dictatorship responsible for war crimes. These narratives seek not only to influence international opinion, but also to maintain domestic support. The War on Terror. The United States and its allies have used propaganda to garner support for the War on Terror, portraying groups like the Islamic State as evil adversaries that must be defeated. Through carefully crafted messages and imagery, they aim to justify military campaigns and maintain the resolve of their own populations. Propaganda is a powerful tool used to influence public opinion and shape conflicts. In our information age, it has become more pervasive and sophisticated than ever before. To protect ourselves from its influence, it is crucial to be aware of the dangers it poses. As information consumers, we must remain vigilant and discerning, ensuring we don't fall victim to the manipulative forces of propaganda. If you found this video informative, then don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in our next video.